Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to Saturday for Late Night Snacks. We are here to
Oh,
discuss another episode of RuPaul's Drag Race. So, how's everybody doing? Hopefully, everybody's going to be shuffling in here soon.
is
If
anybody here?
not, we're just going to keep continuing. I'm sure that we're going to have some people popping up here in a minute.
Absolutely.
But anyway,
So, episode 3
episode 3.
really acted like kind of like the first episode,
Mhm.
first elimination episode, basically, which is new. The show's never done that before. What my the show's never done that before in the history of all of its seasons. I believe somebody out there correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. I don't think there's ever been a premiere without an elimination.
No,
I think
not that
I'm
I'm aware
pretty
of.
sure. So this is the first time that has happened. So this is actually our first elimination. So kind of like the first two episodes we had was kind of like, um, you know, get to know the queens. I guess.
Yeah, I like it better when they're all together.
Oh yeah, well of course.
Split
The,
them up
the,
like
the only
that.
time they've ever been apart like that has been
I
twice in
wasn't
the
a big
history
fan of
of,
that.
of 2 seasons. I mean, 12 seasons plus all the All Stars. There's only been twice that they've hello, Miss Buffy.
Yeah,
They've
Miss
ever been
Buffy.
separated twice, and that was season 6. They did the exact same opening, except for one person from each group went home.
Right.
So
So I
you
think
actually have
wasn't this was
elimination.
the first season they didn't do that.
Hmm?
This was
Yeah,
the first season that they didn't do that.
yeah. So it's kind of it. It kind of dragged out the introduction for this season. It was like,
Yeah.
wow, okay, if you've been watching from the jump, you get used to this show being a certain pace. It's always the same. It's always the same format. It's always the same pace. And it's like now that we're 3 weeks into it, 3 weeks, with these girls, and there's a lot of reasons, but it feels very different. It feels like a different show now.
Mhm.
Morning,
Yeah.
it feels like there's something amiss. And we were talking about pre-show, but beforehand is like the whole cherry pie thing. Oh,
Hey
okay,
BRT.
so we made you crash. The whole cherry pie
Yeah, we
thing
know.
is putting a real weirdness, a real damper on
It's
the
putting
season.
a damper on the whole season.
Because like this week, spoiler alert, in case you didn't know, Sherry wins this week. Um, she did really well. She was engaging. She was fun to watch. Um, but yet every time that you find yourself laughing at her jokes or being impressed by what she does, then the other voice in the back of your head goes, "Well, she did what she did. She's gonna be eliminated anyway." And then when she wins, it's like, "What the hell? She won!" And you're looking at all those other talented girls on there, going, they've missed out on something like that
Yeah.
because this chick who's eventually gonna have it all taken away anyway. Rumor has it out there, in the RuPaul spoiler is that Sherry does really well all season, and she makes it to top 4. And so that's really going to be a damper all season long of where we're at. So it's weird. It's weird watching it that way, and
Hmm.
so so then when you have
And it kind of takes the fun out of it. The
yeah,
fun
and
is
when you have
gone the
episodes
first season.
like the big long introduction where you have 2 weeks of no eliminations and 2 weeks of where they're trying to do something special for the opening, and then you have your first elimination 3 weeks into it. So we're talking almost a month into it. You have your first elimination. The whole
Hmm.
thing feels weird now. It was. I found myself last night watching the episode. And usually, I have RuPaul on all the time. When we're in RuPaul season, it's like the show's constantly on. I'm watching YouTube videos and stuff, and just like this, I really know everything's going on in the community. Everything's going on. Last night, I found myself halfway through the challenge. We'll talk about that god awful challenge, but halfway through the challenge, I found myself really disengaged with
Yeah.
this cast, and I don't think it's really has anything to do with this cast because I really like them after the introduction. I think it's just how the season's playing out, how
Right.
all the drama, all the ugliness around the season has caused me to just kind of like not put myself into it, not engage. So we'll
Yeah.
see as it plays out, but. Like last night was the first time I ever sat down and watched an episode of RuPaul where I was just like, "This can't end soon enough." Although this is atrocious, and the challenge was just terrible. We'll go over that in the recap. But but like I was saying before the season even started, we were talking about it's like this show going mainstream, and now that the show is a few years in its VH1 run mainstream, it's
Yeah.
almost like that corporate. mainstream family fun mentality has really taken over the show, and it's lost its
Yeah.
edge. It's lost what makes it really unique, and it's all about format and formularies and you know surprises
It's
and
yeah,
shit like
it's
that.
not
When
as fun
when,
as it
when our
used
show
to be.
wasn't really about that.
Mhm.
So I don't know. We'll see how it
To me,
plays out. It's going to be
it's
really
not
interesting
as
how the whole
fun as
thing
it
plays
used
out
to be.
anyway, because, like I said, everything seems off this season. It's like, with the whole cherry pie thing and then the whole weirdness and challenges and the whole beginning being different. The end of RuPaul plays out the same every year, has since like season five. And basically, what
Right.
you have the final four finale. Someone may or may not go home, so you may have a final three or a final four, depending on the talent.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have a week off, which is a recap week. They'll show like the best of. Then you will have the finale, which is the big live finale show. Well, they've changed the recap the week off, to be a reunion show again, which is basically
Uh-huh.
all the queens get together. They all sit in the studio room and they all answer questions and stuff like that, which is really good. It's one good thing VH1 has done is they've changed the recap to an actual live reunion, and
Right.
then you have the big finale. Well, with the coronavirus and everything going on, it's like they're not going to be able to do their big tape finale.
No.
So we're not
They're
going to
gonna
have the
change it.
big, huge splash of an end of the season as a huge freaking celebration to this whole thing, because they haven't taped the finale yet. That's the only thing they haven't taped. They haven't taped
Mhm.
they've already taped the reunion, but they have not taped the finale. And so the reunion is going to be very interesting. Are they going to go back and retape the reunion? Because I'm sure Sherry Pine was in the reunion, because Sherry Pie was in all of the preseason lead up, all the preseason press. Sherry Pie was there in all of it. So they tape every episode, even the reunion. The only thing they don't tape is the finale, and that's taped in front of a live audience about a week out, about about a week, 10 days before
Right.
finale actually airs is when they tape that. So that would be in April sometime that they'll actually tape that finale. So it's like, are they going to ditch the reunion? Or what? Are they going to let the reunion play out like they've been letting the whole season play out? Who knows? So all of that, who knows,
It's
and
all
all that weirdness about the whole thing is just really strange watching it week by week.
yeah.
And then you have her who's actually put a whole damper on the season, kind of running the season. So
I
now she's
know.
become like a lead name in the season, not only for her controversy, but for her talent and how she's doing. So
Hmm.
I don't know. It's weird. It's a
I
very
mean,
weird right now.
I can tell you right now there are some people that I want to go home like now,
Oh yeah,
but
it's always the case. Yeah. So, well, we'll get there. Who first? Let's do a quick recap of what happened, in case anybody's curious. You
Mhm.
have same format of RuPaul everywhere. You have a little uh mini challenge,
Mhm.
and then you have a what did they do for the mini challenge?
The mini challenge was the improv that they
No, they
did.
did that challenge. It was the main stage challenge. Maybe
The
they
main
didn't have one this week.
they didn't have
Sometimes
one.
RuPaul comes in the workroom and they do a little challenge in the workroom. And I'm trying to think. I don't think they did the one this week because there was too many people.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so they did. We didn't have many challenges this week. So no many challenges this week. We had for our first real workroom. Um, there was not any particular gossipy kind of queen
No.
stuff yet. The only thing that really kind of stood out so far that the show's kind of trying to build a story around is what's her face is French. Her English as a second language
Uh-huh.
deal was kind of
Was
being brought
lacking.
forth to the storyline that she's going to have an issue this season with feeling that she can't communicate because the English, being the second language. Bo, stop. And then you have the other Rock'em Sock'em who is going through the whole self doubt period. So that will be a storyline that I'm sure they're trying to continue to promote is her insecurities, because one thing you can always tell about the uh, reality shows like this is once they start really focusing on something weird and small like that, like the English thing or the insecurities, that the producers are trying to build a story around, because
Mhm.
they know kind of from pre-taping where things are kind of going from that. So they'll build a story around it. So those are two things to watch out for that are continuing to build is the insecurities from Rock and Sock'em and the English with the French girl. I forget her name. Shit, I'm problems with names. The 3 weeks in, I'm never like that. And then we have the I gotta pull their name. I've got to get their names down. Um, the one larger African American queen who is how's that so tacky? Where's
It's not Berta. Is it Berta? Are you
no,
talking about Berta? No.
Berta? No, Berta. No,
Yes, there is. Berta's the bigger one from the first group.
yeah, that's one I'm thinking about. Is her name Berta?
Yeah, that's her drag name, Berta.
Oh wait, where the hell I pull up their list of names?
Mhm.
Oh, here we go. Okay. Contestants Sherry Pie, Heidi in Closet, Jackie Cox, Aiden's in. We're gonna talk about Aiden in a minute. Britta.
Britta. Oh, I said it wrong. I'm sorry.
Okay. Britta is Nikki Doll. Nikki Doll is the French girl. So we got
Yeah.
Nikki Doll's thing, and then you got Crystal Method, which was by the end of the challenge, Crystal Method's storyline was following suit with Rock'em Sock'em's storyline. So we had two girls
Yeah.
blending their whole pre-thought failures to
Hmm.
insecurities about who they are as drag queens, who they are as people, who they are with a group of people. So they're building something up around Crystal Method as well. She's the
Hmm.
one with the long hair as a guy,
Yeah.
and that really came out of left field there towards the end of the episode. That she was just like,
I wasn't expecting that.
no. With Britta, very interesting, very interesting with her is that she's starting to get into um the villain role.
I noticed that.
She's the one throwing them all under the bus, and she's the one prejudging them, and she was the one that started that whole her and Jada started that whole thing about Aiden, and
Hmm.
Aiden's going to be the punching bag this season. It seems that Aiden is every year, most years they tend to have kind of a kook ball on the season. You had Sharon Needles, you had uh, uh, Ben de la Creme, you had you know who's the other one that won? Jinx Monsoon. They tend to bring somebody on the show that has a real strange aesthetic of drag, a real kind of kook ball kind of thing, a real, sometimes
Hmm.
a little spooky, sometimes a little kooky, something just
Yeah.
when you look at the person as a completely judgmental kind of outside thing, you're like, whoa, it's weird. But weird is
Yeah.
good in the sense of RuPaul because she likes to introduce that new style of weird because those weirdos, those kook balls or whatever, they're unique. They have something that nobody else in that room has. Whereas
Hmm.
a lot of those girls that are in that room, they can be paired off, tripled off of other queens that are doing something similar that they're doing. You have your pageant queens, you have your New York City club queens, you have nightlife bar queens, you have all these people that kind of fall in the same type of pattern, same type of aesthetic, and then you've got someone like an Aiden Zane that comes on the scene, and talent or not, good drag or not, got it all together or not, they're different, they're unique, they stand out, they
Yes, Miss
they get a
Poppy,
lot
you're
of camera
correct.
time, they get a lot of camera time, they get a
Widow
lot of attention from
Vendu
RuPaul.
and Britta are the bigger ones. Are
Huh?
the big Widow Vendu and Britta
Yeah,
are the bigger girls.
yeah.
Both of them.
And so with Aiden, he's got he's one of the most unique people that I've ever seen on the show because he has no experience in drag whatsoever as far as the actual drag community, meaning prides or bars or nightlife or anything like that. He's not done anything. He's not even an Instagram drag queen. He's not
Did
anything
he
like that.
even
He's just
mention
kind
how long he's been doing it? Because I don't remember
I
what
have to
he
look it up,
yeah.
but it's not long, and he's got he's just got who it is in his head. He's got what drag means in his head, and when I was watching him, he's very unique because he speaks the language. He walks the walk. He it's like he's ingrained in the community without ever stepping foot in the community. So it's like somebody that has studied it from afar. somebody that has studied it and learned it and felt part of it in their own dreams in their own head, and then are now thrust in the middle of it, and he's not quite measuring up in their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Funny about him, it's what I find really really cool about him is that he is measuring up. He
Yeah.
is talented. In these challenge things, he's like they'll throw him under the bus before he even gets a chance to open his mouth, and then all of a sudden he shines, and he's just so much better than the others. Now his drag aesthetic, I question taste level, I just experience
Yeah.
level, but that fashion is personal, drag is personal. However you view it. I mean, I think he needs to get another wig. He needs to do something a little bit more special with it with his stuff, or it's not going to carry through with judges
Mhm.
like Michelle Visage. But he's interesting. I really really like him because he's like so so off. There's one little thing about him that's just off the beaten path
Mhm.
of everybody else, and yet everything else kind of falls in line. So it's so refreshing. It's so unique. But I feel bad for him at the same time because he's going to be the punching bag because people fear that uniqueness. They fear that something new in the room. It's like, oh, shutting you
And
out to get a room.
they're
Nobody.
they're all throwing him under the bus. That's all going to come back and
Oh
bite them.
god, it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back tenfold because, like, the episode started with that storyline. Who was last? Who was the most untalented in your group? And RuPaul does that every single season. She makes people, you're great people because it's part of the whole competition thing. And Aiden was picked out, first as last, and he felt a certain way about it. And
Hmm.
he got in that drive well. I just had to prove him wrong. Every time I had to prove him wrong. Well, they finished the challenge. They did their whole taping of the challenge, and that mess goes on all freaking day. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
like the 5 minutes that we see them all put together. They're with each
No.
other for 12, 14 hours, taping that mess. And what's the first thing that Britta and them do when he comes back in the room is they throw him under the bus. You
Yeah.
weren't our leader. You didn't do good. You didn't really guide us. You didn't really do it. So if we go down, you're going down as the leader. And it's like,
Hmm.
he did better than you guys.
I know.
And
And
I
then
guess he did for you.
and
So
then on the
that's
other team, because there was four of them, they
the
broke them
four of
up
them on
into
that
four
team.
teams from
Yeah.
when they because they also threw Heidi under the bus
hmm
as one of the worst ones,
And
and
she
she
did great too.
shined.
Heidi is one to watch.
She did
Heidi is
great.
one to come out of this on top because she is smart as a
Mhm.
smart dumb person. And those are the little mystery ones that all of a sudden come dark horse comes out of nowhere because nobody takes them seriously. Nobody takes it's you could see the hunger in Heidi. You could see how bad she wants to be there, how bad she wants this, and but yet she'll let everybody just kind of walk all over. Everybody kind of do her thing, and she's like Aiden, where she says, "Well, that's fine. I just have to prove them wrong," and she
Yeah.
does. She did, and it's amazing to watch those two. And see, what Zay with Aiden, he's a real kind of dark, kind of goth kid where
Hmm.
she just sits in a room and just kind of takes the room in and takes whatever she's seeing around her and learning from people's personalities, learning from what people are saying. Whereas Heidi is like trying to engage, completely trying to over engage with everybody. They're like on the opposite spectrums of everything, but they're both being dismissed for their talent. They're both being not taken seriously, and both of them are outshining a lot of them. So it's a very, very interesting dynamic with those two. And I think that Heidi's really smart. I think she's witty. I think she knows when to be kooky, and I think she uses that to her advantage. So it's interesting. Who's like Dahlia? Okay, Dahlia Sin, Gigi Good, and Nikki Doll. Nikki Doll, I think, is going
Oh,
to struggle
yeah.
really hard. The first episode, I thought Nikki Doll was great. I thought, wow, she's a fashion icon. She's really intelligent. She's got what's going on. Then you get her in the midst of a workroom, in the midst of all the other contestants, and
Hmm.
outside of just the doing the big huge fashion, you strip all that out of the way.
And she
A
struggles.
lot of insecurities that she has to. She's one of those contestants that has to get out of her own way. She can't get out of her own way. She's not gonna do it. Gigi Good, I think, can win the show though. Buffy.
Too.
I
I
think
really like
Gigi
her.
Good absolutely could carry this show. And who's the other one she said?
We've got. Hold on, let me find it again.
With the comment she said, oh, here you go. Dahlia
Nikki Doll and um, Jada Essence Hall. Uh,
Jada Essence Hall, God, she's gonna do really well, but she's got a
Yeah.
bad attitude. She's got a really, really crappy attitude. Oh, it's Alicia. I'm sorry, I didn't see it above. Yeah, Alicia. Um, Jada is like it's that higher than thou, that better than people.
Hmm.
Um, my drag's better than yours because I've had this and this handed to me. Whatever that kind of is all rubs me the wrong way. And
Yeah.
ever since Ira Sanchez's win way back in season 2, that kind of mean attitude, I instantly check out on those girls, and that's the Jada of the season. She's the villain of the season, and but she's really, really, really talented. So I think they're going to carry her far until she, was just a Dahlia Sin. What
My
am I?
favorite right now is Gigi. I love her.
Who is Dahlia Sin?
She's the
What
one
is
who
that?
got eliminated. She's the one who
Oh, is
got
that the one?
eliminated.
Oh, yeah, Dahlia Sin got eliminated. The problem with Dahlia Sin is part of the House of Aja, which is Aja's from season 9.
I think
Okay,
so. I
9.
have to look
What
that up
season are we on?
again.
11. So wait,
It's
Aja
8 or 9.
8. 8 maybe. I don't know. 8 or 9. Aja was on. She was on an all-star season. She was
Hmm.
on one of the big seasons. She was quite a big personality. She's a character that kind of came out of the whole show. And what she became known for after the show was she created her own drag house. After
Hmm.
a LA based, New York based, not LA based, drag house, the House of Aja. And just like Eliza Edwards' house, the House of Edwards, they're probably the two big drag houses that have come out of RuPaul's Drag Race. And Dahlia Sin is in the House of Aja. And so by Dahlia Sin being part of the House of Aja, she has a lot to live up to. And I think she came into the season with a lot on her shoulders and a lot of pressure to
Hmm.
do well, to be expected to do well, because the House of Aja and the House of Edwards has such a huge standing in the community, and they do a lot of stuff. However, in the House of Aja, what's very interesting is in the House of Edwards, Alyssa's smart because she puts all her girls before her. Alyssa knows how to showcase who her talent is. Like
Hmm.
Shangela came out of the House of Edwards, and um, Laganja Stranja came out of the House of Edwards, and Alyssa Edwards would make sure she would tour those girls. Those girls would present themselves, and they made names for themselves. Whereas the House of Aja, it's Aja and her girls, Aja and her backup girls. And I think
Yeah.
the problem with Dahlia Sin is that she's gonna go right back to being one of Aja's backup dancers, and kind of lost, because
Yeah.
when she was eliminated, we'll talk about the elimination a little bit, but when she was eliminated, her attitude and how she went out of it spoke volumes about
Yeah.
how she felt about why she was on the show, and what she was expected to do on the
Yeah.
show. And I think that was all because of the House of Aja.
Personally, I want Crystal Method to go because there's something about her that just rubs me the wrong way. I can't really put my finger on it. It's
mm,
just,
Yeah, I don't know enough about her yet. Like I said, they're building that storyline around her. I was surprised. For of all people, I was really surprised to see the big insecurity storyline come from her.
yeah.
Um, that I didn't expect that. But then I started putting two and two together, and how they're creating the storyline with the makeup and the big clown face, and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, now I see why they're bringing that storyline. So we'll see how that unfolds for her.
It unfolds.
Um, the
There's
ones that I want that I
there I
always
can't
want to
figure it
see
out.
more early, huh?
There's
Are
something.
the
There's something with her. I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
Me, I'm always really open about having anybody there for whatever they want to show, because every week it gets different, and every week they show us more or show us less, or
Yeah.
however their story unfolds. The ones that rub me the wrong way are the bitchy ones, the ones that are the typical stereotypical
The ones that think they're all that.
exactly, the queens, that everything is
Yeah.
got to be about being a queen, being a drag queen, the larger than life, the textbook stereotypical stuff. It's like, yeah, that's fine for an hour stage show at night in the club. That's the personality that people pay to go see. But out of drag, in the workroom, just working the grind, telling your story, getting your talent out there. I don't like to see that on 10 all episode. It's like, come on. It's like, give me a break. It's like, take it down a notch. Let's just like
Mhm.
that's why Valentina. And all the Valentina fans are gonna rail me wrong, but when Valentina was on her first season, before All Stars, before Rent, before any of that mess,
Yeah.
Valentina was the epitome of the personality of drag that I can't stand, and it's those drag queens that are in their character on 10 because the camera's in front of them
All the
24/7, and it's like drop your guard for 5 minutes, drop your guard, tell us who you are. Um, so this season, Jada is there.
Yeah.
I think Sherry Pie is one of them.
Hmm.
Sherry Pie rubs me the wrong way for others, but Sherry Pie, when she first came on, her
Yeah.
very first interview when we watched the Meet the Queens, I said no, 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 because she was the type of queen that I just can't stand going into a season. So it's interesting that she's had all the drama around her, but yeah, that whole I can't out of the stick all the time. It's like
Yeah.
wow. There
No.
is a person under there. You can show that person for 5 minutes. Just shows that person. And another one that rubs me the wrong way, that didn't get a lot of airtime this last episode, but has from like the Meet the Queens and from the first episode
Yeah.
is Jan. That
Jan. Jan still rubs you the wrong way.
Yeah, there is something about that I wouldn't mind seeing her go next. There's something so weird that first off, Alexis Michelle is her drag mother, and
Hmm.
Alexis Michelle just bleeds into Jan, and Alexis Michelle is one of those drag queens that just is better than everybody, and that you try and give her any type of direction, you try and give her any type of skill. She already knows what she's doing. She already knows how she's thinking about. She's going to be the best in the room. And even when she fails, she failed because of the fault of somebody else.
Yeah, it was never her
And
fault.
yeah, and I can't stand all that. I can't stand the fact that she would not. It's one thing to be a bitch. It's one thing to feel you're better than now. It's one thing to
Yeah.
believe in your talent, but it's another thing to drag people down for their talent while you do that. And that's the epitome of who Alexis Michelle is. And I see that bleed through Jan. And maybe that's not fair that I haven't given Jan a fair
Yeah.
shake
We're
because
still early in the season,
yeah,
so
because Alexis is her but the way she speaks, the way she presents herself is like, oh god. And Jan is also one of those contestants that comes on. You come on the scene and you're in front of the camera and you're blouting off every single time you have a testimonial. I'm gonna win this. It's because I'm gonna win. And the check is mine. Put the crown on my head. It's mine. You've already
yeah.
lost. You have already lost. A reality show is not going to base a win around that story, because
Nope.
what people don't realize about reality TV and about how these producers of reality TV work is, first off, you're selling a personality trait. That's why you're hired. You're hired to fill a box. Is they're not hired. You're not hired for yourself. You're hired to feel that, like on a regular reality show, you've got
Mhm.
your token black guy, you've got your token angry black woman, you've got your Asian guy, you got your your dumb white jock dude, you've got your gay kid, whatever. You got all these stereotype boxes, and it's the truth. That's who they put you in one of those boxes. It's like, oh, there's our gay kid for the season. Put him in there.
Right.
Once you're allowed to be slotted into one of those boxes, then what are you going to do with that opportunity? What are you going to do to take that opportunity and move it forward and be yourself outside the shadows of that box? And
Yeah.
those are where people really succeed in reality TV show, is that they have their own story to tell. They have their own journey from the first episode through the end episode about how they grew and how they changed and the troubles they had and the successes they had and all this stuff in reality competition. That's what the producers of these shows like. Sometimes these shows, they have the winner picked before it's even started. And they
I
dictate
know.
the winner on who they do. And that's why these shows are classified as entertainment and not classified as like a competition show, because it's about entertaining us through the reality personalities of reality TV stars. And you know,
Yeah.
um, it's so people like Jan who come on and say, oh, I've won. And I've won, put the crown on my head. And I have to do everything that I mean. I have to win this. It's the only
Mhm.
thing I've ever dreamed about was winning this. Well, you're not going to win it. You've already blown your chances, because
Yeah.
they're never going to base a show around somebody who just is going to win. It doesn't work that way. If you want to win it and you're hungry, you better come in with a storyline that you're going to work hard, and you're going to learn every episode, and you're going to be defeated, and you're going to pick yourself back up, and blah blah blah. All that stuff. That's how people that just are hungry for the win. Like look at
Yeah.
Alaska. When Alaska finally won All Stars, and they wrote All Stars 2 around Alaska. They wrote that so that she would win, and but the reason why she won that was because of the story that she told in her first season. coming from nothing, coming from the boyfriend of Sharon Needles, all of her challenges there, not quite making the mark. It was the richest to rag story. Same thing with Shangela's richest to rag story. On their seasons. So they're coming in just as riches, and you have all the riches, and you're just going to win. You're not going to win. So she rose in the wrong way. I've met Crystal Meth, and she's nothing like how she is being portrayed. Hopefully, you'll be able to see that further into the series. Oh, nice.
Well, I hope so, because right now I don't know how I feel about her, to tell you the truth.
Well, Buffy, tell us a little bit about her. Where
Yeah.
did you meet her, and what's the circumstance? Because I've only ever been in a conversation setting. I've seen a lot of them. I've seen several of them through the years perform here and there through prides and stuff. But I've only ever been in a conversation setting where I actually knew somebody and had a conversation with Chad. Chad Michaels is the only one I've ever really known and that was before Drag Race. I knew him before any of this started. So it's interesting to meet them. I've seen RuPaul perform in a bar too, um,
Yeah.
years and years and years ago. And I tell you, everything they say about RuPaul is true. When she comes in a room, she is commanding. Just the air
Yeah.
in the room changes. Her whole presence is there. It's almost like an angel, like when God comes in the room. It's really really weird, but she's great.
Mm-hmm.
That was God. I was young when I saw RuPaul. That was sort of like post like supermodel tour when I saw RuPaul perform.
Yeah. Because right now it's only been a couple of weeks, but right now for some reason, Crystal Method is not one of my favorites. I'm sure it'll probably change, but right now she's not.
Yeah. So what'd she say?
Um, Nothing.
I think. Oh,
She hasn't answered back.
okay.
I'm
So
sure she will, but
we will get back to that. So
get
then
back to that.
to the challenge. So challenge this week was horrible. It was probably the worst challenge I've ever seen as far as enjoyment to watch it. It was a cool challenge, but it was taped poorly. It was
The only
so
one, the only one I liked was
contrived.
the first set. I liked that one, but the
I,
first set of them I liked that one, but the rest of it I could do without it.
this is a perfect example for me. This is a perfect example of the show going mainstream. And the
Hmm.
show being part of a VH1 family on a major network where everybody across the world is viewing it versus it being on Logo and being kind of still a Monday Night Bar thing, niche kind of stuff. Because
Uh huh.
this challenge was so overproduced. It was so scripted around the judges and around
Yeah.
Ross's interviews at the table and cha 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 and Carson being the interviewee outside. And it's like for improv, yes, improv with improv groups and improv situations, they do give you a story, they do give you an outline. Okay,
Uh
you're going into a bank, and this guy's going to come in here and rob the bank, and the bank teller gets shot, but you're a paramedic and you want to help her. Go. And then you kind of play out. So sure. So they gave them all the little that type of outline with their little
huh.
scripts. They said, you're this trio, and you're coming to the audition for this show because you provide this worst talent. Go. That's how they presented in the workroom. That is not how that was taped at all.
No.
You cannot tell me that was improv taped like that. They gave every step of the way an outline to that. They gave what the scenario was going to be with Carson, with their entrance with Carson, what was going to happen with Carson their entrance into the room, what they were going to say to Tata and Ross, what their reactions were going to be, what the follow up to that was, and then their exit and their exit interview with Carson. All of that was mapped out for them. The only thing
Hmm.
that they improv at all during any of that was kind of the little in betweens about what they were going to say to get to the next beat of the story. So there really
Yep.
wasn't an improv challenge. That was really more of we're going to give you a scenario. We want to see how well you do to play it out, which is fine. But it went on way too long. It was way too contrived. And I thought that the show showcased, and this is again going mainstream, the show showcased more of the judges and their special guest than it did the contestants and what they were trying to do with that, because it was like, how much airtime can Ross get? How much airtime can Carson get? How much airtime can Cha Cha get? What's her name? Um, it's
Uh,
like,
yeah. I don't
and
remember
after
her.
the first group, it was like, wow, this is really, really bad. Then you got to kind of let go of it and say, okay, I'll roll with this. And some of it was funny. So some of the beats of it were really, really funny. Some of the groups did really good once you got into the stride of, of what it was and what they were trying to accomplish.
Did
But
really
my
bad.
God, I when the last group came on, I was like, is this still going? This is
Yeah.
we're still doing this? Because usually when they divide up like little mini groups like that, you get a couple minutes. It's like bam, 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 and then you have a longer runway and a longer presentation afterwards. The fact that this particular episode was only an hour, so meaning it was only like 40 something minutes with commercials. That block of time that they used for the competition was way too much for the show. It was
Yeah.
that's how I felt. Every single queen reminded me of previous drag queen. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they do. But Bafisa is they're filling to fill a space. They're filling to fill archetypes of certain things. Yeah, exactly. They're like, and then when they judge them like that, when they bring them on the show, oh, she reminds me of Trixie. Oh, she reminds me of Shangela, or she's like Latrice. What? And they bring them on. Then the show airs, and they become their own personality, and then they become a new archetype to fill. It's like before Katya came on. Katya was so unique.
Second
Katya was
board,
so,
I
so great,
said.
and they never had a Katya before. Katya was her own person, but now they're looking for Katyas. They're looking for kooky people like Katya. Before Sharon Needles came on, she was unique, the spooky little goth girl. Now every season's got somebody spooky. So they do that. But the challenge was, how can you judge anybody on that? Because I thought it was a very interesting topic to pick to say, okay, we want you to be doing improv and show us the worst that you could be.
Mm-hmm.
So then how do you judge somebody who did the best of a worst of situation? Very weird. It was just over the top. It's just campy, over the top. But the people that shined in this challenge that you could tell got it and got the niches of it,
Mm-hmm.
Aiden,
Yeah.
Heidi, the
Mm-hmm.
people that were being dragged through the mud, on all this stuff. Sherry Pines is
They were
great.
the
People
ones
with
at the
acting
bottom.
abilities, huh?
They were the ones at the bottom, and they
Yeah,
both.
yeah. So Gigi Good was she lip sync?
I just no, she wasn't in the lip sync. I love
Who's
her
in the lip
from the
sync?
runway at the end.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
The lip sync was
not Gigi Good in the lip sync. Who's in the lip sync?
the lip sync was crap.
Dahlia Sin
I'm trying to remember
and
her name. Diasin and
Nikki,
oh
the French girl, Nikki. That's right. So
no.
we get to the runway. The runway was buttons. Another weird topic for drag. But it's actually it's kind of cool when they give, because before you go on Drag Race, what happens is you get like almost like Harry Potter. You get a welcome letter to RuPaul. You get a Drag Race welcome letter. Here's welcome to Drag Race 101. This year you will need a buttons outfit, Halloween costume, green and gold outfit. So they will tell them kind of preseason what to prepare for, a Madonna outfit, whatever, and then they go and
Right.
they do their thing. So this year um, buttons and bows. But what a very open-ended kind of thing. I like it when they do those open-ended ones, because then we get to really see the fashion and the ideas and the direction that some of these queens really do their own aesthetic and drag. Whereas when you have somebody like everybody come in a Camino or kimono, or everybody come in a swimwear, something like that. Something that's more specific, you don't quite get their own real drag. But when you say buttons and bows, the
Just got
floor is wide open. You do whatever you want to, and
mm-hmm.
so we had everything across the board this episode. You had somebody like Aiden, who was just in a Walmart dress with buttons
Yeah,
sewn on it, which is
on it. She didn't
wow.
have she didn't have a bunch of buttons, but she did do a lot of the bows. But she kept it really
Yeah,
simple.
but it's just where she's at in her drag. It's like that's drag for her. She put on a t-shirt, throw some buttons and bows on it, throw on a pair of heels, and she's in drag. And she
Uh-huh.
was. But
Yeah.
is that to the caliber of these other queens on the show? Then you have somebody like Jackie, who comes out in that almost showboat kind of a Broadway kind of costume. The whole I forget what they called it, but with all the
That was
ruffles and stuff, huh?
that was basically her Cinderella thing. Her Cinderella.
No, Jackie with the one with the little hat and the ruffles and the little dancing skirt or whatever. Yeah, that had nothing to do with buttons and bows, but she lined, like right here with buttons, whereas everything was it was a costume. It was a big, her mother's the costume designer, so you
Yeah.
really see, where they're coming out, and they would say, well, Nikki Doll, who's a big, huge fashion icon. She did the whole Cinderella with the sash and all that stuff. Very interesting. So I like runway challenges like that. I like because when they do fashion photo review, afterwards, Raja and Raven are really able to go into their inspiration and what they did, and it's really cool. So I hope they have more of that this year. Not so in the box things. They've had a
Yeah.
lot of that.
I
They've had a lot
know
of
when it's kind of open
specific runways.
and it gives them the opportunity to make up their own decision as far as how that's going to go
Yeah,
instead
yeah.
of
So this one was neat.
you have to have a dress that looks like this.
I didn't think anything was particularly missing the mark completely. Because really, what mark
No.
you have, bow, you have a button on there, you've got the challenge. But there's definitely complete opposite levels of talent as far as seamstress and presenting and throwing a look together talent. It's gonna be very interesting with this cast to see what these big fashionistas, because we haven't had a lot of this on the show before, where so many people in the cast are into fashion, are into high-end fashion and professional fashion, and costume design and all that stuff. We haven't had that much all together in one room versus the people that don't even know what they're doing for first time in drag. So when they do their first do it yourself design a challenge, it's going to be very interesting to see where all this falls, because it's like, how many of these big fashionistas who go out and have people spend thousands of dollars making their garments for them, how many of them can put one together themselves? Can Nikki
Mm-hmm.
do that? Can Jackie do that? So it's gonna be very interesting to see.
That's going to be really fun to see because
Yeah.
right now they've got everybody else doing it for them.
Oh yeah.
But when
Yeah. All these looks that they brought with them for these big fashion girls are all professionally made for them. And these cost these are multiple people doing them, and they've cost thousands of dollars. And like Jackie said about her little button outfit, she said, no, who was it that came with the dress, the skirt, the boots, the hat, purse, all in those gold buttons, those orange gold buttons.
oh, that
Um,
was Gigi. She was
huh?
the one wearing. She was the one wearing the orange dress.
That was Jackie.
That was
Who was the one
Gigi.
in the showboat one then that I'm thinking.
Which one?
The one with the it had the little top hat. It was green and white, I believe, and had the big white ruffles. And she was
I I can't remember. Was that from this week?
mm-hmm. Hold on, so it's episode three runaway looks. Yeah, the gold, the buttons, all that stuff. That was
Yeah.
pretty amazing. But something like that's a team of people to do. She said she has many people working on that dress for her to come to the show. How is she going to do something like that to that caliber in the workroom? She's not.
No. Because I watched it from the beginning and watching them putting something together when they've only got a certain amount of time and you have to do it from whatever she gives you.
Mm-hmm.
That's always the interesting thing to see if they can actually design something themselves.
Oh yeah. Well, of course, yeah. Those are the make it or break it challenges for them. Well, I don't see who it was. Let me let Nuke out. It's people crack under pressure. They lose their spot in the show on those episodes. Those episodes eliminate some of the best in the cast each year because they break. They just don't know what they're doing. Yeah. So the run was good. It had like I said, hit or miss as far as fashion. The lip sync,
Mm-hmm.
terrible on both ends. Oh my god,
Yeah,
that lip sync was boring. That lip sync was neither one of them showed that they wanted to be there.
they didn't even try.
And I was to tell you the truth, I was really surprised because they had the first 2 weeks of the season with no elimination.
Mm-hmm.
I was really surprised that Rue didn't send them both home.
I know. I thought she was going to. I really did because
I didn't see a bad reaction from the judges. They were kind of yeah. I was like,
I watched her. She wasn't that impressed.
yeah. What they normally do on double elimination episodes, they'll make a whole freaking story out of it with the judges panel. They'll make sure that Rue is harsher than ever before. They'll make sure that when they're doing the cutaways with the judges and their reactions and the girls performing, there will be like kind of for the judges. I
Yeah.
think they go back and they film a lot of that after they realize that Rue's going to do a double elimination. It's for TV, a lot bigger show for TV. But here's for RuPaul 101 for those of you guys that are new to the show. Two things that are constant. There's a music cue at the end of the judging that will tell you if there's actually going to be an elimination. Um, RuPaul will be talking to the final girl before she says "sashay away," and there's a little particular music cue that goes into it. And if that music cue hits, you know that they're going to go backstage. They're going to pack away their stuff. So on
Uh,
those surprise non-eliminations or the surprise double eliminations, it's when the music cue is different. If the music cue is different, you're like, oh, something's going on. Yeah, she ain't going home, or they're both going home. 100% of the time, that music cue will tell you everything. So listen for it. And so Dahlia went home. Her let's talk about her exit was
oof.
really
That,
poor,
yeah,
huh?
that was poor sportsmanship at its
Well,
finest.
and again, I question if it's poor sportsmanship necessarily as to that now she's got to go back and she's got to face her house, her community around her house, Aja, and all of that to know that she failed failed her community, failed her house. And I think that's really unfair that undue pressure is put on some of them like that. Because if you had a sense of self and a sense of your talent, a sense of the show, if you have that, you should know. Even though it's got to be a gut punch, it's got to hurt. It's got to be emotional to be kicked off, especially to be kicked off first. But
Well, yeah,
look
it's
at
got to
what
suck for anybody.
so many people do going into that show is especially if you get kicked off first, you just received a golden ticket of a lifetime. You
Well,
received
yeah,
a one time opportunity to bank on it. And like, look at what Vanjie Mateo did that year that she got kicked off first. Vanjie Mateo got kicked off first, and her whole career was based on it. She marketed the hell out of her exit
yeah.
and her good sportsmanship and how fun
How she
she
handled
was
it.
and her whole name. She had, that year she had Gavin Newsom out on the campaign trail saying Miss Vanjie, Miss Vanjie, Miss Vanjie. Gavin Newsom, our freaking governor, was out there saying it. So it's like there's a way to make that feeling, that gut punch feeling of being kicked out first, the most bankable moment of the season. And the fact that Dahlia went out so broken and
Yeah.
so mad the way she did shows you that it's not necessarily a sense of self. Shows you that there's some outside pressure probably that's really got her screwed up in the head about this whole thing, and that I
Yeah,
think is unfortunate.
that's true because yeah, that's gonna. I wasn't. I was surprised by the way she handled that.
Yeah, you usually see that kind of exit on people that go out much later in the season that have really put a strong investment into the season, and then we'll get kicked off and like they didn't see like maybe
And
like going out fifth place to last or whatever. You're like, what the hell? And I tried so hard and I blew it there at the last bit. You usually see that kind of anger then,
yeah.
but that's like a self anger. This was like I was the first to go. I screwed up everything. Yeah, kind of anger, and that's more outside stuff. That's
Hmm.
especially with her background of who her house mother is. It was really
Well, now
sad.
that she has
But
to go back and deal with all of
and,
that.
yes, it's a reality show, and yes, she did it, and yet her recovery was good as far as when she came back in to pack up her stuff and whatnot. But
Hmm.
I question the motives that sometimes that these big networks do to these people when they have a moment that's not particularly their best moment and the show capitalizes on it versus
Hmm.
giving the person an opportunity. So like if Dahlia Sim stormed off the stage like that, threw a big old fit, and then went back into the workroom and started tossing shit around, throwing her clothes around and punching walls and stuff, I'd capitalize on it. But the fact that she stormed off the set, they got a reaction from RuPaul and Michelle and all the other girls, and there was like this strange music and all that stuff. And then she comes back and she realized her behavior.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I would have edited it that way. I don't think I would have really shot her in the foot like that. It's like, yes, she had a moment. And she went out real piss poor. but she realized that real quickly afterwards and tried to recover from it. And now here we are, a day later, all the communities out here, doing their podcast and still on the show. And what is everybody talking about? Talking about how piss poor she went out. What a poor
Mhm.
sportsmanship she went out on. And I don't think that was her intention. And because her attitude was so good coming back into the workroom, or cleaning up her stuff. I think she really was trying to recover from that moment. And I don't. I
Mhm.
think the editing of the show, there always says you can't blame editing because you did it. Yes, she did it, but you can blame editing in a sense when they capitalize on something. And I
Right.
think they, instead of capitalizing on her self realization of the moment, they tried to capitalize on her moment. And I just felt that was unfair. And unfortunately, she's going to be known for that moment. That watch, I guarantee you, when we see the reunion, they're going to talk about that moment.
Of
They're going to replay it.
course.
It's sad.
Probably going to be one of the first things they play.
When
Well,
when they get to her, yeah, when they ask her questions like, you were so mad. Are you still mad at RuPaul? Here's what you did. Here's your look. Oh, girls, you see your look. It's like,
it's the
you know,
usual stuff that they always ask you. And what were you feeling when you were walking off the
I
stage?
tell you,
That.
oh my God, those reporters, everybody goes through such shit in life. It's like I love when there's a tragedy or a whole family was murdered or your 2-year-old kid was kidnapped and some reporter comes to you, how are you feeling?
Ugh,
Motherfucker, no, mm-mm,
I'm not giving. I'm not
mm-mm.
going to justify that with a response.
Well, first off, why are you in my face? Why are you even worried about it? It's not. It has nothing to do with that victim. It's us wanting to see that victim, wanting to see the car crash. It's a really, really sick
Yeah.
mentality. And I say that of all the crazy crap that happens, to me in my life, just crazy shit. The one thing I hold on to is I have absolutely become super hypersensitive of that stuff, and that's one thing I'm really proud of because it's like I don't want to see that mess anymore. I don't enjoy it. I don't. It makes my skin crawl. I don't want to hear all these terrible things that are happening to people and people viewing it. The microscopic lens. Just, I just like this all this Trump shit. Trump is doing this and terrible. I don't care. It's like ugh, I would people just
Well,
be
that's why, in a way, I'm glad we have this to distract us
yeah.
because otherwise,
It's hard.
you know,
What who are we to thrive off the misery of others? But we do as a society, as a culture, as a human being. There is something innate about people wanting to see the car crash, wanting to see
mhm.
the train wreck. And it's maybe makes your life your misery feel better. I don't know. Um, but
It's like my. You sit there and you wonder next week who's going to be the one who sticks their foot in their mouth next week on
oh
the
yeah,
show. Like,
of
who
course.
screwed it this time?
What's the drama? On these reality shows, we're waiting for the drama. Ooh, we're waiting for the fight. We're waiting for the drama. It's like, why can't we be waiting for? Oh my guys, are they going to succeed this week? Are they going to finally pull it through and be able to celebrate? And we do. We thrive off those things. We love those things, but we're never anticipating them. We're never waiting for those moments. We're waiting for the fights. We're waiting for the juicy gossip. We're waiting for the drama. And those reality shows, they know that. They know that that's what the audience likes. And so back to the exit, that's exactly what they did with Dahlia's exit. They knew that everybody would be talking about the next morning. They knew it'd be part of the, "Ooh, girl, did you see her storm off that stage?"
Well,
Well,
and I
yeah, we
think
did.
it's
It
because
sucked.
I think it's because they wanted us to be able to talk about something other than what everyone else is talking
Yeah,
about,
and
which
at her expense.
the whole
That's the
Sherry
sad part.
Pie thing
Oh yeah, okay. Let's
would
talk about Sherry
damper
Pie
the
thing. Yeah,
whole season and everything.
there's gonna be a whole season of shit. Sherry Pie wins the challenge. Did Sherry Pie deserve to win the challenge? That's always a big word with me. It's like, first off, you don't deserve anything.
No.
Everybody's there for the same reason. Everybody's trying to compete the same way. So you don't deserve the win. But was she qualified to win? I would question it not, because I personally liked other performances. I personally thought other people shined when they were, like a reason to fail. They shined. So by Sherry Pie winning, VH1's in a pickle now because now we saw at the end of the episode what do they do with her winnings? Well, they gave him to the Trevor house. So they're going to show us every single episode. Yes, we acknowledge she won. Yes, we acknowledge we gave her a prize to go to Paris and to do this and to do that, but she didn't get it. And so now VH1's constantly got to apologize for it. And what's really sad about the whole thing is that VH1 shouldn't have to apologize for her behavior. The studio, every well, I've heard so many times on people's review on RuPaul's Drag Race is, VH1 should be shut down for that. Or VH, why didn't VH1 stop her? She was catfishing. When you're
It's not their
catfishing,
fault.
nobody knew. Nobody knew it was her. Nobody knew what she was doing and how nobody came forward for stuff like that until after she got on the show. So it's like you can't blame a producer, you can't blame a PA or an executive person that's hiring these people, a casting person to blame for them for her behavior. It's not like she
Mm,
committed a felony and she was out there arrested with a record. She was doing something behind the scenes through her own personal shit, through personal people that she knew with these connections to do this kind of crap. And it
mm.
is the type of scenario that somebody had to come forward to say something about, and that other people had to come forward to corroborate. Other than that, there is no facts. There is no that something can find out about. How didn't why did the producers of VH1 know? They should have known. No, there's no expectation for them to know something like that.
How
And
are they
it's like
supposed to know these things?
you're
This
not.
this this
You can't.
gets done. This stuff gets taped what a year
Yeah.
before
Mhm.
it airs, at
Like I said,
least.
the whole fact that this didn't even come out until after the first episode aired was crazy because it's like that's how it came out. Was those guys saw
Mhm.
her on TV and said, "Wait a minute, what the fuck?" That's
Yeah.
that shit that mess with me. It's like so before that, like I said, she will have taped the reunion. She will have taped every single thing that they did all the way up to the live finale. So now VH1's got to scramble every single week and figure out what they're going to do with her all the way up to the reunion. I mean, are they going to retape the reunion? Are they going to rescript that? So
Mhm.
and I do hear that she supposedly goes all the way, and that sucks because now we got to do it. I was hoping she'd go out first, so we don't have to deal with this mess all season.
Oh, I know.
But
That's what I thought
it
too.
sounds
When
like we're gonna have to deal with this mess all weekend because it sounds like she does well,
and it just
and
dampers the whole season, and I feel bad for
it does.
everyone
I didn't think it
else.
would bother me as much as it did, but watching her perform and win last night, I found myself wavering, going in and out of. Oh, I'm really enjoying her. Oh fuck, no, I can't. Oh, oh, that was really really good. That was really fit. Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
And it's like, am I judging that behavior from her? Yeah, because I think I'm supposed to. I think that's what VH1 is telling me to do. Is she's evil, she's dark, she's there, but at the same time, what she has admitted to and what she has taken responsibility for, and coming from a background when I was younger in that scenario, people who are starving for an acting type probability, an audition, a chance to be noticed, a chance to get your foot in the door somewhere, a chance to show you what you got. I mean, it's hard. The one thing about the entertainment industry is it really is a lot of that who kind of crap, and it's like
Mhm.
you don't hear a lot about these backroom auditions. You don't hear a lot about this casting agency is talking to this group of people at this certain location at this certain. You don't hear any of that stuff. It's a matter of you falling into an opportunity, and then you're starting to get to know people and who you know and who your connections are, and you start to build that momentum. So for these poor guys, these young college guys that are thriving to be in the business, thriving to get some sort of thing, they get an opportunity, and it sounds so legit. It's coming from a friend, coming from somebody that you trust. The manipulation the pre-thought out manipulation that went behind that was one thing, but then when it went so far to be a sexual manipulation for her own self pleasure at this guy's expense, the one that actually did send the video, it's not to me. It's not even about the sexual video, not even about the masturbation of the video. It's the fact they were taking
Oh.
steroids for her. They were taking steroids to boost up to show that the aggression and the anger and stuff. It's like it's one thing if you're taking steroids or drugs or whatever on your own behalf for your own personal reasons or your doctor's prescription for whatever. But when you're doing it just as an audition because that's how bad you want an opportunity and to be
Yeah.
manipulated for an opportunity, that the opportunity must have been really, really presented to him really well for him to be
Mhm.
that naive and to think that that was something that he struggled with and really wanted to do to go that far as to do that
Right.
for her. And it's like, give people the benefit of the doubt. This poor guy, for him to be manipulated into something like that, that's where I believe that she's really fucked up and she's really gone wrong. Is not
Because
that
of
these,
that, I
these guys should have known better. It's the fact that she knew that these guys should have known better and that she was able to prey on them anyway.
mhm.
And
Yeah, and now because of what she's done, I don't know how to feel about the rest of the season.
yeah,
Knowing that,
because it's unfair to the rest of the girls. That's what I think. When I'm watching, it's like, oh, okay, whatever her behavior was, whatever she did is accused for, because she's not even accused anymore. She admitted, freely admitted to what she did. It was okay, you know. And now that she's admitted to it, and we're looking at that behavior, it's like every time she wins or every time she does really well in the challenge, it's like, well, that sucked because somebody else could have taken that win or somebody else could have
yeah,
had that moment of shine.
more
Or now
deserving.
it's one more Sherry moment. It's one more reason that season 12 has become about the Sherry Pie show. And I
It's just sad.
we're
I
gonna
feel bad
in
for
order to
your girl.
enjoy over the season, we're gonna have to get over that because unfortunately I think we're on the ride for the long haul with her. But it does feel weird.
Mhm.
It
Yeah,
does feel different watching it. We'll see. Next week was rumor she might be returning for an episode. I'm thinking the makeover challenge. Who? Oh, Dahlia. Dahlia's returning.
that would be nice. Maybe she is.
Possibly they may do that. Sometimes that has happened. They bring back
They
the
bring someone
first
back.
set of eliminated queens. They bring them back to do something. Like Ginger Minge's season, and Trixie and Pearl's season 7. Their makeover challenge was to bring back all of the eliminated queens to partner with the remaining queens, and whatever partner won the makeover challenge, that eliminated queen got to come back into the show. And that was when Trixie came back into the show that season. So yeah, it's been done before in the show. So yeah, so Dahlia hopefully Dahlia will be able to come back, or all of them are eliminated. I like it when they give one more chance to people to come back, especially the early outs, because they get that second opportunity to shine, second opportunity to do something. So that's good. What else?
Oh, Miss Buffy's checking on us.
No, our president doesn't either. I'm
But
worried.
no, we're doing okay.
I'm worried. To tell you the truth, I don't know how to feel about it necessarily. Um, I think if he, I with my state of health, I think if he gets me, I say, I think it's inevitable too. I don't know.
But thank you
I,
for your concern. We appreciate it.
yeah. You're in the same state we are. We all are. All over the world. I don't I think that we're so. This is so the beginning of this that I don't think we've even looked into what's really going to happen.
Yeah, it's still too early to tell.
You know, unfortunately, with what it is and the background I have, knowing what I know and following the numbers, I we're not going to escape this, and that's what we always in America. Oh, all these war tragedies and we've always, especially in Southern California, we've always kind of lived right outside of all this stuff going on. 9/11,
Mhm.
all this crazy stuff. We kind of just lived right outside of just looking at it in a perspective, and now it's like we're not going to miss this one.
Yeah.
And RuPaul's
Anyway, I want
strategy
to
is
thank
not
you
gonna work.
for coming out and hanging out with us.
That's right.
We will be back on Thursday
Next week, what we
for our,
was there a preview for next week?
are you going to do any previews of the Wand Hall next week, Michael?
Oh, mm,
Maybe?
Thursday. I think so. I think so. Just it will be something small, but I think it'll be something. It'll be something. So some sort of introduction to it next week. I've got a couple ideas about a little bit of what I want to show and how I want to show it. I had to take down the whole back corner of it, so it's right now to get a glimpse of it. Kind of looks half in construction right now because I'm working on something
Uh,
different. I put up a new case and stuff, so they do. So I didn't want to show anything right now, but I do have some ideas about how I want to do. So stay tuned. We'll see. But tonight's one. See, I'm going back to the basics, taking everything slow. Harry Potter. There he is.
Nice.
Harry Potter. That is the original, the OG, the OG of the OG. Wait, what am I doing? I hate this freaking camera. That is
Well,
the
there you
boy who
go.
lives. There he is.
Okay.
Harry Potter.
Yep.
Now, what's interesting about these ones, the first, here's a bit of trivia for you. The first two movies, the Chris Columbus movies, oh, I think I have one here. It's kind of similar. The Chris Columbus movies, when they made the wands, they were all just very straightforward, generic like
Simple.
this. They were just sticks. Every single person in the cast had a stick like this. Um, and when Alfonso Cuarón came on to do the third movie, Prison of Azkaban, that he was the first director to infuse a sense of personal style into all of this, and he was the one that introduced the idea of having a personality. Since Ollivander told everybody in the first movie, the wand chooses the wizard, the wand is unique, is unique to everybody. He wanted to make those wands personalized to every single character. So like you can go through the board of
Mm-hmm.
any character that has any line in the movie, that has any screen time at all, they have their own personalized wand. And basically, what they did is they created hundreds of different looks. They had some specifically designed for specific people, like Snape's was specifically designed for him. The Elder Wand was specifically designed. But
Yeah.
then they just brought out a huge bucket of wands, and they went up to the actors and they said, "Pick your wand." When they picked their wand, they were tagged him, and that became that character's wand. Throughout the thing, there are some characters that were left over that decided to stay with their Chris Columbus wand, and Molly Weasley is one. Professor Hooch, the flying instructor, she's another. You have
Uh-huh.
a few of them, which is very interesting because they have these old school plain wands that are on there. So if you watch, if you as I'm showing everybody the wands, showing the different characters wands, like Harry Potter's wand, this one is very, very, very well known. This is a famous wand now. You could go into a million different places and see this wand design because this is the Harry Potter one. Um, but if you watch the
Mm-hmm.
first two movies, not the one he's carrying. It's not the one that he has. It's not the famous Harry Potter one. None of them have. They all have sticks like this, and that's not how J.K. Rowling had envisioned
Mm-hmm.
them either. If you registered on Pottermore when Pottermore was still a deal and got to choose, or your wand was chosen for you, those designs. And I have my Pottermore wand. I mean, when I do the wand reveal haul, whichever week I do it, if it's next week or the week after, that will be the wand of the week. I will show you my Pottermore wand. But Pottermore wands, when the one that's designed for you, those designs, that type of design, they're very different from these. That's the design J.K. Rowling had in her mind of what wands were
Mm-hmm.
in the Wizarding world, and so they're very different than these. But I'm addicted to these, the individualized, the character based ones that have a very distinct things. There's a story behind every single one of them. And what was so fun about the filmmakers and the fan community and behind the scenes community is even though there was nothing created except for a few of them, a handful of them, there was nothing created about a story. You know, Voldemort's was created with a story, with the bone and all that stuff. The rest of them were like, literally, a bucket of wands, pick one. What one do you like? Oh, I like that one. Okay.
Pick.
Once they got
Yeah.
them, they started creating stories around them. Started creating a why that one, and people will tell you, "Oh my God, look at Cedric's wand. It's so Cedric. It's so him. He picked it out of a bucket." Literally. So it's not so him. But the fan community can base these things, can create these stories around it and everything. So it's neat. It's fun. A couple of them have two ones. Well, I will get to those when we get to those. There are reasons that characters based off a story, based off a J.K. Rowling story, that particular character has two specific ones. Like I showed you that one week. I showed you the Bellatrix ones, I think. Maybe I showed you the Lucius Malfoy ones too. I don't know. I'll have to go back and check. Buffy, did you do homework? Is for whatever reason in the storyline that character has lost or their wand was damaged. Like right away we see it. Movie two, Ron Weasley's wand is broken, and he gets a new one
Yeah.
in movie three. So there's certain reasons that characters' wands have to have two, but this Harry's wand has always been with him until the very end, and at the very end, his wand is taken, but in the books he does get his wand back, and in the books, unlike the movie, but in the books, Harry retrieved his old wand, and he kept his old wand for the rest of his life. This is the only wand that he ever
Mm-hmm.
used, Harry, in the books. He used his wand to destroy the Elder Wand. So No, he didn't break it in half and throw it away. He actually used his wand to destroy the Elder Wand. So, you know, these are the
Fun
sorry.
fact,
It's
people.
fun. It's fun.
So anyway, we're gonna get off of here, and we will be back on Thursday with another show. We haven't really figured out what we're gonna do yet, but we will keep you guys posted.
Stay
So
tuned.
everybody, great weekend, and we will see you guys soon. Take care. Bye,
And
guys.
wrap. That's early.